Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Ashish Mohindru. I'm the Vice President of Product Management for Oracle Apex, world's most popular low-code application platform. And today, I also have one of my leading product managers, Jason Haynes, who's going to be joining us to do the demo of the product. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you, Ashish. Hi, everyone. I'm here to demonstrate how to use Apex and how to build an application here in just a few moments' time. Back to you, Ashish.
Awesome, Jason. And today, instead of just showing you a bunch of PowerPoint slides, we thought the best way to demonstrate the capabilities of Apex was to build a live app in front of you. And the app we want to build is called the Movie Streams app. And this is basically a product catalog or a movies catalog. The idea behind this is user can, via secure login, get into the product catalog, browse a series of movies, a bunch of movies. They can be able to get more details about these movies and also be able to search on multiple criteria like genres, country, production company, and so on. And then be able to also do some analytics or do some reporting and dashboarding on top of that. So you want to know what kind of users were interested in which kinds of movies, what genres are more popular, what countries made the highest list, and so on. And then at the same time, this application would not only run on your web browser or your desktop, but also on your mobile devices. So it needs to be truly responsive without the need for you to re-platform or to rewrite code to make that channel or platform accessible to your users. We want to do all of this by and build this app with 20x faster with 100x less code compared to your traditional application development platforms. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jason to show you the application and also the steps on how to build this using Apex. Jason, over to you.
All right. Thank you again, Ashish. So here we have, I'm sharing my screen and you can see this application already up and running. This is our movie stream application and it's an Apex app that's built, ready to go. And we're going to actually do the demonstration of building this application, but let me show you what it looks like from the end result. Here, as Ashish mentioned, and it pointed out on his screen share in the slide deck, that we have a bunch of poster art, a bunch of movies from the Movie Stream app repository. We can see here on the left side a faceted search that actually is doing a little bit of data analysis for us just by loading the page. We can see in terms of genre that there's more drama movies than all the others in this data set. The United States represents most of the different origins of these movies and various other details like the production company, the runtime length, and even budget is shown here. From there, I can actually even scroll down and show you all these different poster arts having to do with these different movies. I can even search. If I want to search for Harry Potter, I type that in and press enter, and my screen is refreshed with new data without a full page refresh. This whole concept of this interactivity where data is refreshed without a whole page submit, without a whole page repaint is important in terms of the applications that you can build with Apex. And it just happens out of the box. Moreover than that, I actually have navigation in this app. I can see when I click that hamburger menu in the upper left, I can go back to the home page where I see an opportunity to look at two other pages. There's a dashboard page here. Let's navigate there. What I now see is 4 different charts on this dashboard page. I can see that it's a little bit interactive. I can move over the different pieces of the pie. I could even click on any of these pieces of a pie and have the report come up where it's drilled down or filtered on this particular data set. This kind of interactivity is hugely important and very useful. I can also demonstrate the power of Apex applications built in this way, in that if I resize my browser, it's the equivalent of showing it on a smaller device, and how it resizes and is still usable as a mobile application. Let me go ahead and go bigger again and move on to the other page that's in this application, which is a report page. So this report page has a bunch of different columns of data already available for me to interact with. I can see there's a lot of different information available here, and not all of it is necessarily usable for me as a user of my application. I may not want overview here as a column. There may be other columns I may not want to show here, but I have access to different features in this tool that is represented on this page known as an interactive report. And this interactive report has an actions button. So as a user, not only can I use the app, but I can also use features of the different page components that are in the app on the various pages. And I'm going to go quickly and remove a couple of these columns. So I go into actions, I'm going to want to get rid of overview, and I can see that there is actually a poster path in this. I'm removing these 2 columns, and I click apply. This interactivity and this page refresh is showing me how I can interact with the app as a user with low code, if not no code at all. More importantly, on this particular page, I'm given access to the ability to create a new record if I chose to. So when I hit create, I'm presented with another dialog where I have all those same fields shown, where I could populate them with data and hit create to add another row. It's just another way of controlling the user experience in this app. But this was created in a process that I'll demonstrate in just a moment, where these are out-of-the-box features and all of them can be customized. More importantly, on this particular page, I have an edit icon next to each record in the first column. If I click any of these icons, that same report or modal page is open with the details presented and populated in the different page items. So I actually have the ability to edit this data in real time. I could click apply changes and go back and work with my data. I even, since I am an administrator of this app, have a delete button that's visible if I chose to delete the record. But the whole idea here is this app was built in a process that is amazingly simple and amazingly easy to do. And everyone that is paying attention to this particular presentation can follow along and do exactly this in your own Apex workspace as we explore the way of building an application like this. So let's say we want to start from scratch and build this application. Here's the same data on my screen where I have a CSV or an Excel spreadsheet of data that happens to be several thousand records worth of movies from history. And I want to show you how we can build this application from scratch. And I'm going to build it in another workspace here. This workspace is using an Edge browser. It's just another web browser. It could be Chrome or Firefox or Safari. And now that I'm in my workspace on apexoracle.com, I'm going to create an application from scratch and show you how beautifully easy it actually is. So I'm going to create a new app by clicking this button. And I know that I have this file on my system, so I'm going to provide that file as a file to build the application from. Having done that, I am now going to choose my file. And here's my movies data. And the first step in this process is we need to have Apex bring the data into Oracle database in such a way that it can be interacted with from the Apex perspective. In doing this, I have to give my table a name. I'm going to call this movies. You can see the data there at the bottom is being analyzed already, and I can see there are various columns, and Apex is determined for Oracle database which columns are what particular data types. I don't even have to mess with any of that, but I'll hit load data. In just a few moments, that data will be loaded into my schema in Oracle database. I can see that a table movies has been created with 2,631 rows, and I'm immediately presented with create application. I click that button, and this begins a process we call the blueprint process. It's a wizard-driven approach, and I can see right now in creating the application, I have a default icon, which I could customize. I have the name of the app, which I could customize, even the appearance. The default appearance is Vita with a side menu on the left, just as I demonstrated as the example at the beginning. I can see these particular pages have been decided to be created as part of this blueprint process, but I'm going to make a couple changes off the top. I can see that movie search is one page that's going to be created and movies report. But the word movie in both of these titles is a bit redundant. So let's use the edit feature here. And I'm going to just delete movies and leave it as search. And on the next one on the report page, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just tuning the parameters of this blueprint process for the purpose of building this app. I can see that in addition to the dashboard page, Apex is determined that it's going to create that faceted search page, which I demonstrated at the beginning. In addition, we'll have a page that has an interactive report, but notice it says with form. And that with form introduces the functionality where I can create a new record, or I can use the link icon to edit that particular record on that same form. One other thing that the determination is the blueprint process has arrived at is to create a calendar page, right? Movies have release dates. But I determined I don't think I want that in this application. So I'm going to use a feature here to edit, and I'm going to delete this particular page. So that simplifies the app. And moving forward, I see I have a bunch of features that are available here at the bottom in the form of checkboxes. I'm going to check them all. I'll take a few moments to show you what some of them are, but just off the top, we can see install progressive web app is an option that will present the app with an icon at the top of the screen so that your users can quickly install this app on that device. There will be a feature like About Page, another feature that allows users to provide feedback, and so forth. but these are just options that you can check or uncheck for the purpose of creating a bunch of other pages with other rich functionality with no extra code. If I scroll down, I look at everything else, it looks good. I'm going to hit Create Application. Now realize, had I not been walking you through these steps, you could have done this yourself and specified your own data, created your own table object, and hit Create Application, and it would have been done inside of 30 seconds. You arrive at a page like this in the Apex Builder. Now in the Apex Builder, I see that my app is actually 28 pages. The first few are clearly understood from the process we just saw. We have a dashboard page, search page, a report page, and the detail for the movie page. That's from the report with form. All these other pages have to do with the features that I've checked in the process of building this app from this file that I provided. But quite honestly, we're done. This app is ready to go. Let's run it. When I hit Run Application, I'm presented with a security. A security check is that every app you build in Apex by default is secure. And I have a user and a password because I requested this workspace, and I'm a developer and workspace administrator. Now I'm signing into my app, and I can see my app. It's a little bright, but it still has the same functionality I demonstrated before. This is what we call the Vita theme, and this Vita theme makes things a little bit bright. We have our home page, dashboard, and our navigation, search, report, and administration pages. So basically everything I showed you at the top has already been built and ready to go. I can go look at the dashboard page. I can see some charts. Notice a couple differences in that what I showed you before had some pie charts. I'm going to demonstrate those changes in just a moment. If I go to the search page, now I'm looking at the data in a way that's another report, right, with a bunch of columns, but what I demonstrated had poster art, right? I'm going to make those changes as well for you. And then if I go to the main report page, this is where I was before when I first demonstrated at the top of the call or the demonstration, in that it's got a little bit of opportunity for cleanup and making it a bit nicer experience. Let's go ahead and start doing some customizations. I'm going to go back to the dashboard page. And the first thing we notice is it is bright white. How can we make a change that's quick and easy? Well, if you notice the bottom of my screen here, I have this bar. This is what we call the Apex Developer Toolbar, and it gives me, the developer, quick access to features of Apex, like editing this particular page, or perhaps customizing this page. In Customize, I see Theme Roller. This is where I can choose options for changing the look and feel of my app. In Theme Roller, I can see my current theme is Vita. That's the bright look and feel of this app. Let's change it to Vita Dark. Just by making that 2 mouse clicks in a row, I now have a dark app. If I save this as my theme, the app now takes on this look and feel for the entire set of pages. So here's the dashboard. If I go to the search page, there's my faceted search on my report. And here's my main report with an interactive report. But that look and feel was all manipulated with no CSS customizations by my hand. And that's the low-code approach to Apex. But let's take that a step further back on that dashboard page. I want to change these two bar charts at top to be pie charts. How do we do that? Well, one way we can do that is we can just use the developer toolbar to edit this page. I'm clicking Edit Page 2. And in Apex Builder, we now arrive at a page called Page Designer. This page designer is divided up into 3 vertical panes. I have this layout rendering tree on the left. I have the actual visual layout of the app here in the middle. I'm going to collapse this bottom section here, which is showing me all the different page components I could drag and drop on the page, the regions, items, and buttons, but I don't need that right now. And I can see that I have the different charts, the genre, country, production company, and runtime chart. But it's rendering them in a way on this layout that shows all the available positions. I'm going to simplify my view as a developer just by making an option choice, and that is hide empty regions. So at a high level, the 30,000-foot view, my page for this dashboard page is comprised of the breadcrumb region and these 4 charts. Now, you may have noticed as I navigate by clicking on these different page objects, like genre, not only does my selection change in the rendering tree, but on the right side, I see a whole bunch of new information. These are those declarative options or parameters for the Apex page component that I, as a developer, have full control over. I can see the genre is currently set as a type of chart, and I see at the top here, there's actually an attributes tab I can click on. If I click on attributes, this is where I can see that the Apex process of building this app, the blueprint process, determined that this chart could be a bar chart. I'm going to change it to a pie chart. A couple mouse clicks. I've made my change. Let's save and run and see the results of that change. You'll see the page refresh, and that one chart is now rendered as a pie chart. And this is the entire process in which you iterate over the evolution of your app to do different things. Maybe I don't want the runtime chart in the bottom right. How do I action that? Very similarly, back in Page Designer, I click on that particular region, I hit my delete key, and I save and run to see the results of that change. So this is how we interact with Apex Pages in Page Designer to actually interact with the different functionalities we want to see as a developer for our users. I'll make one other change in the country. Let's change that also to a pie chart. In rerunning this, the results are clear. That was pretty easy and quick. Let's move on to the search page. So this search page with the movie stream data is showing us a pretty simple report. It's plain text. The columns that are here may be good, maybe not. But at the end of the day, I want to improve this particular delivery of this information. And the one way we can do that is converting this from being what's called a classic report to being a cards region. So I'm going to edit page 3 in this case. The faceted search is going to go untouched for the moment. My 30,000 foot view is here's the search, which is a faceted search. And then I have the button bar at the top and this movies region, which is actually the responsible party for the report data with all these columns. It is currently set as a classic report, but I want to change that to a cards region. So this is another Apex component. Now that I've chosen it to be a cards region, I can now specify certain features to be enabled. Under the Attributes tab, I see that there are opportunities for me to define a title. I'm going to choose the title from my data set. A subtitle, I'm going to specify that to be the genre. The body, I'm going to specify that to be the overview information. And from there, the media, I'm going to specify that to be an image URL, which I know is the poster path. So all this data was available in the Excel spreadsheet that got brought over into Oracle database and into the table that was created. And I've just specified a few different tweaks from what was already created from the blueprint process. If I save and run this app now on this current page, page 3 goes from being a report on the right to a beautiful cards region using that same poster art that we've already seen in the example. This page is still fully functional. I could filter it quickly on other data such as science fiction. From there, I could filter it down to science fiction movies from the UK. That's pretty amazing. All that happens in real time with no manual CSS, HTML modifications, or even JavaScript. Further, faceted search has more than just searching and filtering. We can even see quick charts from this data. This is what a quick chart looks like from what is currently selected. But if I unselect science fiction and show all of them, I can now see a nice bar chart based on that data. And I can quickly see a pie chart, which is just super neat that this feature is available from one simple component that is placed on the page. Let's move on to the report page again. So back when I demonstrated this as a finished app, I showed you the actions button where we can go in there and choose which columns are shown or not shown. So I'm getting rid of the overview. Let me get rid of the poster path. I don't need a couple of these other columns, and I'll hit apply. So this just shows you how I can quickly, as an end user, make a change to this particular report. But as a developer logged in, if I want to make this the default report for all my users, the interactive report supports the ability for me to save this report as a default. And you can save multiple different reports. They could all be by name. Maybe I want to have a report that's by country. Maybe I want to have a report that's based on genre. All those different reports could be saved and become part of a select list of options within here. But that's just showing you the power of yet another feature of Apex that can be drag and dropped onto the page. I could still go in and edit any of these particular records. And maybe I want to make changes even here. Maybe I don't want certain data to be editable on any of these pages, right? All of that can be controlled with what we call authorization schemes. We can also make other things happen where certain fields are only hidden or shown depending on whether there's other data provided. There's a lot of different opportunities here. I mean, one other thing I can show you quickly is the release date. That's different than a runtime field. The release date field or item actually brings up an interactive calendar. So that's just pretty neat. But again, as a developer, I didn't have to learn how to use any APIs to make that calendar function on this page. It's out of the box available in Apex. And that just is a very quick overview of what you can do in building an application from scratch. Now, remember, from the blueprint process, I chose a bunch of other options. One of them was install app. If I click that button at the top, it actually tells me what I can do here in terms of installing this Movies app onto my device. When I click install, what this actually does is it creates a shortcut on my taskbar that I can use to then bring the app onto my computer screen more quickly and no longer as a tab in a browser. I have also options to pin it to the taskbar, pin to start button, etc. And I can allow it to do so if I want to. The point is then when I make this full screen, whether it's on my mobile device, tablet, or desktop, it no longer looks like a web page. It looks like a device-specific application, which is the beauty of PWAs. From there, we have a feedback feature that was enabled. I love this app, right? And that feedback could then come back to the administration of this app. But again, as a developer, I didn't have to create the functionality or business logic to bring this feature to life because it was just a checkbox. My feedback has been submitted. So what does this look like from an administration perspective? Well, let's go to the administration section. From here, you can see a bunch of other features that I enabled with those checkboxes. I can change the theme even as a user, and I can see activity reports for this particular app. So this has nothing to do with the data now. This would be the dashboard for this app and who's been using it, which only I've been using it at this point. But I can even see the feedback that I actually have one feedback available because I just left it. So this just shows you some of the other rich functionality that was created where I now have a report. I can go in here and look at this feedback. I can choose to action it. I can see some details about the feedback that was left, but it was all created in this specific app just by a checkbox within the wizard process of the blueprint. So this just demonstrates some of the various features that are available out of the box. It can all be customized. We can also even go as far as making it look completely different. And we could have created the app from scratch, but our Movie Stream app does the job. It is capable of delivering what we wanted to set out to do. We have our dashboard. We're able to report on the data, and we're able to see various key statistics from all that data with almost no code at all. But there's one other thing I'd like to take a moment to show you. From this dashboard, I did show you the pie charts and the bar chart. Let's jump back to page 2. And let me show you a little bit of code, a little bit of under the hood of where that chart comes from. From the genre, 30,000 foot view on the layout, I can see that there's actually a series defined in this tree view on the left. If I click that series 1 as it's labeled currently, I will now see code for the first time in this app. This code is literally SQL. So when I'd use the blueprint process to import that data into Oracle database, Apex looked at the columns and made a few decisions and decided that this was going to be a query to render that chart on our page. If I copy this to my clipboard, I'll cancel out of here. I'm going to show you another aspect of the Apex IDE, which is SQL Workshop. I'm going to open the SQL commands feature of SQL Workshop in another tab. So my clipboard, I'd copied that SQL. I'm going to paste it here. I can actually run this SQL in real time and see what data is returned. So the data that now is showing on the bottom of my screen is actually the data that's returned as a payload to my application so that it can be rendered in that chart. So if I rerun this again, back in my PWA, this chart right here is literally the result of interpreting this payload of data as a result of this query. So when we go under the hood and we want to make changes to how our app behaves from our proof of concept, we literally can just sit here and edit this query to give us the data the way we want. And once we're happy with it, we copy our changes back into the declarative spot where I can specify what the query is and just rerun the app. And that's how we iterate over the process of making our app better and better. So this can carry on with other different regions. And we're not limited to charts. We're not limited to reports. Apex supports a whole bunch of different kind of page categories that you can create from, a wizard process. If I hit create page at the top level, I could create a map page. I could create a master detail page. I could create other different form types that we've seen so far and others that you haven't seen. Very easily. There's also workflow and unified task list for approvals. All that can be done very easily by choosing the kind of page you want to create, filling in a couple different pieces of information, pointing it maybe to a data source that's local on the database or remote over REST or via connector from some other third party on the internet. Apex supports all of that out of the box without any need to lift any heavy code for HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. So it could be argued then that the reason Apex is so successful is that you are able to reuse components over and over again by just changing the function features, flipping switches off and on, and without messing with any of the low-level code. And that is really the power of the ability of bringing a lot of this stuff to fruition quickly. So that concludes my demonstration of showing you how this app works. Our movie stream app is good to go. Hopefully management likes it and we can move forward with our project and take this app to different directions and different heights and maybe even make it public one day. In any case, there are hands-on labs available for these apps on our apex.oracle.com website under tutorials. And there's even a movies watch list hands-on lab that takes this to the next level. We have all kinds of tutorials that will help you expand your horizons on how quickly you can build Apex apps quickly and effectively, delivering modern solutions that have world-class features that are both secure and scalable. And when you use Oracle Cloud to make all this possible, you're just making a winning decision because it's going to be even more robust from there and a lot easier to use and a lot more fun to develop as a developer. So back to you, Ashish.
Thanks, Jason. That was terrific. Hopefully you got a good idea of how to build a quick application using Oracle Apex. Even though it was a simple movies catalog app, it had a lot of complexity in the backend that was abstracted away for you by Apex. The same platform, Apex platform, has been used to build extremely mission-critical, complex enterprise-scale applications from supply chain management to ERP systems to CRM systems. So you name it, you can build any kind of application using this same application development platform with low code. So in a nutshell, what you saw was Apex is the world's most popular enterprise low-code application development platform. It enables you to build scalable and secure enterprise apps with world-class features, 20x faster with 100x less code. And with Apex, it delivers the most productive way to develop and deploy mobile, web, and desktop apps everywhere, whether you're building it on the cloud or on premises. Now with Apex, you also get a comprehensive low-code application development platform. So you don't need to piece together different libraries, different capabilities to start building your application. Everything comes in one integrated IDE and application development framework. So you can build any kinds of mobile, web, or cloud applications. It's easy to import and export data. It's got a REST API, so it's very easy to connect with third-party systems, whether it's for accessing data or extending processes or simple connectivity to make calls. So all of this is unified, comprehensive, low-code application experience, development experience that you get out of the box with Apex. With Apex also, there's no software to install. So you don't need to download different software bits, start installing it, configure it, provision it. No, it's a simple click provisioning, nothing to install in the backend. You don't need to write any code unless you're really absolutely doing something extremely custom that you need for your specific use case. But Apex by nature is meta-driven and declarative. So there's no code generated in the backend. That means when you're doing upgrades of your technology, there's no replatforming, reconfiguration required. It makes it very simple for you. As we add new capabilities in the platform, it's reflected underneath your application without any changes. And if you're moving from one platform to another, there is no need to regenerate code to really do the replatforming to make access to that particular system. And finally, Apex is very tightly integrated with the backend database, so that there's a tremendous advantages it offers because of that. There's zero latency data access. That means when the application needs to access data for analytics purposes, for transaction purposes, there is no latency involved. You don't have to pull data from one system to another. It's very easy to access and source, and you can make changes very, very quickly. So in terms of performance, there is no other system in the market that can match the performance of Apex in regards to data access across the board. Because of all of this, if you compare Apex to traditional application development, you see incredible gains in productivity and actually a tremendous reduction in terms of lines of code that's required to build the same application. So we did the study with Peak Solutions in terms of building an application using React.js versus low code with Apex. And what you saw was Apex was 38 times faster than React.js in terms of just development time, and required 20x less code than React.js in terms of pure lines of code being written for building the same application. So across the board, Apex is more productive and less, required less knowledge of programming from the developer to build the same application capabilities for their business use. In terms of the broad application of Apex, we see our customers kind of fall into these building applications, these four categories. One is they're building net new cloud or mobile apps. So you can very easily do that with Apex. The second use case we see very common is extending your SaaS or enterprise applications. So a lot of our customers are building custom extensions to the ERP systems, to their CRM systems, to their content management systems, and so on. And they want to build this quickly using low code. A lot of these are line of business driven, where they don't have an army of professional developers to build out this capability. So they want to be able to use the business analysts or even citizen developers to quickly extend these applications for their specific business use case. The third use case is becoming very prevalent, is about developing new data-centric applications. So as you know, more and more data is being generated on a daily basis across the board, especially in large enterprises or even like startups or mid-sized companies. And what they want to do is be able to leverage that data for better decision-making, better analytics, and make real-time use of this information and knowledge that they have. So they're creating this new category of applications called data-centric apps. And Apex is very much the kind of the core platform that enables you to do that. So it's kind of a marquee use case for Apex. And we do see a lot of customers really building out these net new data-centric applications with ease on Apex. And the last use case that we do see a lot of customers that are Oracle Forms customers. So they've built Oracle Forms-based applications in the past. Over the last few years, they've done that. And now these same customers either want to move to the cloud or want to re-platform these Forms applications to a modern low-code architecture. And they're using Apex as an easy mechanism for kind of making that journey or transitioning to that new platform with ease. With Apex, we've been in the business for a long time. So Apex was originally introduced in 2004, and now we're in 2023. And you can see we've had a number of releases in the process. We typically do 2 releases a year, one in the summer and one in the fall. And these releases are marked by the year that they were released in. So that's, you can see our last release was 22. And then we have the dot releases. Dot 1 is in summer and dot 2 is in the fall. The next release that's coming up is 23.1. That's planned for summer this year. Date is still TBD. The nice thing about Apex is with every new release, we actually have forward compatibility of these features. So if you are any older release of Apex and want to move on to the new release of Apex, you don't need to rewrite any code or need to re-platform your application. Your application has forward compatibility built into it. So regardless if you run Oracle Apex release of 4.0 and now you want to upgrade to 22.2, your application would run just fine on 22.2 without the need to re-platform or rewrite any single line of code in that core app that was built way back with 4.0. As you can see, like I mentioned earlier, we do 2 releases a year. And with every release, we've been bringing in new innovation. So we've investing very heavily in R&D on Apex. We have actually tripled our R&D team size. And our development team has grown by 3x over the last 18 months. And we are planning to kind of continue to grow it over the coming years to give you the new innovations that's required for you to build new low-code applications with ease. So as you can see, with each subsequent release, whether there was from 20.2, where we have introduced the cards region, 21.1, we introduced the maps region, to progressive apps in 21.2, to approvals and human workflow in 22.1, to application search and new date picker and dynamic content region in 22.2. With every release, we're bringing in new innovations to give our builders the ability to build more innovative applications on this platform. Because of this, we've had a number of applications that are live on Apex around the world today. We have over 2 million plus applications live on Apex. with about 3,000 plus applications being generated or created on a daily basis. So every day, our builders are building new applications in Apex around the world. And we have a pretty large community and ecosystem of Apex developers. We have over 700,000 plus Apex developers worldwide, growing at a pretty strong clip, or 25% year-over-year growth. Most of this is organic. Our Apex developers, like yourself, like the product so much that they tell their peers and their colleagues about this platform, and they get them onboarded to build their first application on it as well. So we have a pretty large community of resources available to you if you ever need support in terms of content, idea sharing, help with building your applications. There's a big ecosystem that you can rely on for that. Now, Oracle not only has a large community, but also Apex is the #1 low-code application platform that's in the market. So IDC did an independent survey. This was not sponsored by Oracle. We were not involved in any which way, but they asked over 1,000 organizations worldwide their preference for low-code or no-code application platform. And you can see Oracle Apex came out on top, ahead of any of the other vendors in the space, including Power Apps from Microsoft, Salesforce, ServiceNow, and a lot of the pure plays that's listed on this particular chart. We have thousands and thousands of customers like yourself that are building applications on Apex today. This ranges from early stage startups to very large Fortune 50 companies, as you can see on this chart, from things like PepsiCo to Siemens to Disney, to new age companies like Airbnb and Uber, to traditional, non-tech companies like Wyndham Hotels and so on. A number of these companies, thousands of these companies, are building applications on a daily basis using Apex. And now I'd like to turn it over to Jason to talk about the Ideas app. Jason?
Thanks again, Ashish. Yeah, so on the slide deck there, you see a screenshot of the application. I'm showing it to you live on my shared browser page right now at apex.oracle.com/ideas. You're going to see this particular application, which has a lot of familiar features that I just demonstrated in the app we built for MovieStream. More importantly, though, the purpose of this app is for the community, developers like yourself, to visit and search and see what other people have submitted as their thoughts or ideas for new features for Apex. But it's also an opportunity for you to log your own submissions that might become one day a feature that is used in Apex and delivered in a future release. But if we go back to the idea of, okay, this is an Apex app, I mean, I am looking at a search box, I am looking at a report, I am looking at a gear here that when I click it, it looks like a faceted search. All this is very much the same functionality that you just saw in our other app. And it's just presented in a different way. But this is a rich, feature-filled Apex application that is also PWA supported. So this app itself can run beautifully on your mobile device right now. And the other exciting thing about this particular app is this is one of those apps that I work on as a special project here on the Apex team. And it is a public app, and I'm able to brag about it, not just for the purpose, but because I actually spent a lot of time working on this over the last 18 months. And part of this whole message to you, everyone on this call and watching this video, is Apex is fun. Being able to develop these applications quickly and deliver rich world-class functionality that is secure and feature-rich is just tremendous. And it's empowering, not just as an employee, but as someone who's tinkering with data that wants to be able to build their own apps. Apex is the ticket. Working in conjunction with the features of Oracle Cloud and all those opportunities with the Apex free tier and the always free tier of Oracle ADB, an autonomous database, you can build very rich products and solutions with very little time. And much of what you're seeing here is customized, but it's not customized with a lot of low-level code. It's just turning on the right switches in Apex, looking at the right thing in Page Designer, and customizing a region or a look and feel from a particular set of options. And it makes working with Apex just such a pleasure. I built my career on it. I hope that you can too. And like Ashish, I mean, we enjoy bringing this message to everyone that's willing to listen, because Apex is just a tremendous tool and a great platform that we can use to bring power to users. Because the data is great, but unless it's usable or presented in a way that users can interact with it in an intuitive and a great user experience, it's not as good and useful. That's why showing you a spreadsheet like I had back on Excel was one of those things where it's like, I don't know what I'm looking at. but when it's presented in terms of an application that's rich and beautiful and obviously working well on a mobile device, that's just a tremendous leap. And we'd like you to take part in that journey with us as you build your own applications and contribute to how Apex can be made better as time progresses.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. If you are excited about Apex, hopefully we got you excited about Apex. And if you want to learn more about it, say Apex is once again, in summary, is a low-code platform that enables you to build scalable and secure enterprise apps 20x faster with 100x less code. It's very easy to get your hands on Apex. There are no additional licensing costs, no limitation on the number of developers and users apps you can build with Apex. All you got to do is sign up for a free trial account on Oracle Cloud, and you can get access to Apex for free. So you can actually start building your apps today without paying a single dime. There are paid services for Apex available as well. That depends on the size of your application. Once you grow it above a certain data set size, or if you need a certain number of users, that will compel you to actually move to a paid service. But nothing stops you from getting easy access to Apex today on Oracle Cloud. And with Apex, you can also get, the myth is like Apex is only accessible with data in the Oracle database. The reality is you can access data for your Apex applications from any third-party application. So it could be residing in Oracle database or any other third-party data store like MySQL, a SQL Server, and so on and so forth. And also you can connect to different applications, whether it's Oracle applications or other applications like SAP, CRM, things like Salesforce, and so on and so forth. So it's extremely, you can build applications that are extremely heterogeneous data sources with ease using the same low-code application development platform. Now, if you want to get more information about Apex, this slide kind of shows you different places to get more detailed information about Apex. The easiest place to go on is apex.oracle.com. So you just go to apex.oracle.com and you can get all the information you need to get started with Apex, along with documentation, hands-on labs, tutorials, and even take certifications to become a certified Apex developer. With that, I would like to thank Jason for the demo and thank you for attending this session.
Thank you, everyone.